الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء المرسلين محمد وأهل بيت الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين سيما الإمام المنتظر الحجة الثاني عشر روحي وأرواح العالمين لتراب مقدمه الفداء. أما بعد، فقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه المجيد والفرقان الحميد: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربي زدني علما. صدق الله العلي العظيم. Right, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, hope everyone is well. Now, there are a few things which I am planning to launch, and inshallah I will launch them. One is as the Ayyam of Sayyidah Fatima Zahra are approaching, and I will be starting, and inshallah I'll prepare the actual work itself. It's dealing with the issue of inheritance of Sayyidah Fatima Zahra from the Quran. So there is ayat of the Quran of Hazrat Sulaiman alayhi salam and other prophets which prove that the Anbiya leave inheritance itself. However, what I may do, first of all, the hadith which Abu Bakr quoted, saying that the Prophet had said, "Nahnu ma'ashil anbiya la nurith, nahnu taraknahu ma taraka," that we, the nation or the group of prophets, we do not leave an inheritance behind. Whatever we leave, it's sadaqah. Now, I will deal with that, and then after that, then the ayat of the Quran, so that you become more familiar with the Quran, and also you become familiar with the Sunni tafasir, what they have said. So that is something which, inshallah, I will launch in probably about a week and a half, 2 weeks. And the other thing which I am going to do for yourselves is this. I have shared with I don't know, has anyone watched the one on YouTube about the tafsir of the Quran? Has anyone seen those of Surah Baqarah and Surah Al-Hamd in Arabic? I did it with the American group to just test it with them. Did everyone look at those recordings?
No. Okay. I think when pass it to us would be useful.
No,
okay.
I couldn't.
Okay, I'll share them and tell me your feedback on regards to this. But I'm going to show you what I'm planning to do and prepared to do. This is what I'm going to do. Is that as we are doing the book as well, I'll continue with the Medina Arabic book, along with, as you can see, there are about 14,000 verbs in the Quran, and of course many of these verbs have been repeated in the Quran. Now I'm going to go through all of the most commonly used verbs in the Quran. Now, for example, the verb qala in the Quran is used. The root word is qawala. It's form 1, meaning that it's a 3-letter verb. It has a weak letter. So when we have the root word, now by having a root word, it allows you to understand whether it's a verb which has a weak letter, or it only has vowels in there itself, or a non-vowel verb itself. So alima, there's no weak letter here itself. And qala itself, it comes 1618 times. And if I just press on this, I can go straight to this and then relate it to you. And then we can go through some of these verses and practice it. I will teach everyone and go through. I'll send out handouts for the past tense of qala, the present tense is yaqulu, and the imperative is qul. And I will go through some of these verses of the Quran so that we are able to understand and try to be able to translate from Arabic to English as well. So this is the idea which I have been thinking of, what I should do and how I should launch Surah Baqarah with yourself. And I think this will be quite productive. So I am planning what this will be. It will be a 1-hour session. The first half an hour, I may do 5 verbs from here. So I may do 5 to 10 verbs, practice the past, present, and imperatives, and then I will go and then start gradually Surah Baqarah, Surah Al-Hamd, then Surah Baqarah, breakdown of the verses and the actual Shani Nuzul, the revelation, what was the incident, and do that as well. So that is the plan to be done, and that will be an additional lesson to the Medina Arabic book, which we're doing at the moment. Now, the day itself, I need to fix. With American students, it's quite easy because they are 4 hours behind, so I can fix in a late night class and it suits them. But with students in the UK and Dubai, I have to think of a day which will be suitable. I can propose for yourself. I know you got lesson on Tuesday. The other day which I can offer, it can be probably when. Can I do Wednesday? Yes, I can offer Wednesday. Say 6:30 or 6 o'clock, if that suits. So Tuesday you've got the Medina Arabic, and then on Wednesday you will have the familiarizing yourself with the Quranic verbs and getting yourself more familiar with Surah Baqarah and so forth. If we go through Surah Baqarah, that would be a great achievement because many verbs, and Surah Baqarah is the longest surah of the Quran. Many of the words are repeated in the Quran. What is your thought about this approach?
6 o'clock UK time?
6 o'clock UK time, yeah.
Yeah, that's okay.
About American will be what?
It'll be 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock in
Yeah.
the afternoon.
Yeah, 1 o'clock. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It'll be 1 o'clock. It'll be tomorrow, next Wednesday. Of course, not this week. The following week, give about 2 weeks or so. Rabiul Awwal, Rasulullah's Milad passed. Then after, inshallah, we can start. Now, is this approach something which you will find intriguing, or do you find it something which you think is a good idea of going forward?
It's a good idea. Alhamdulillah, we've reached to a level where, inshallah, little by little, we can start the Quranic ayahs.
Now, because I know you've done other courses as well related to the Quran. Have they done this approach before or not?
Not the way you're starting it. They did random ayahs from here and there, not like in sequence.
No, that's not the way. Because what happens when you do random ayah? There's two things I'm going to do. I'm going to go through these verbs. And do, of course, there'll be different ayats. This is going to be one part of the actual module itself. And then I'll go through the whole Surah Baqarah. At least, if a student does one Surah Baqarah, it gives. I've sent something in the group now, in the WhatsApp group. I've given you some examples of the different ayat where qala has been used. So you will be able to refer to it and understand that qala is past tense here it is coming present tense, because that is really essential, because there's two ways of teaching Quranic Arabic or make you understand the Quran. One is a very superficial level, that is, for example, tell you qala is he said, past tense, and move on. So some people teach Arabic in that form, that they will just translate word to word, not give you some basic background understanding of all of the conjugation. When you know all of the conjugation for the verb, it makes you have a more of a broader and a deeper understanding of the Quran itself. And there's less chances of you forgetting the translation of the verses itself. Because when I just tell you, qala means present past tense, yaqulu means present tense, and move on, without you knowing the different changes of the forms itself, you will tend to forget. But when you know it, as if you're learning the whole language as a language, it makes you much more stronger and rigid in your understanding, and it gives you a more of a solid base in Arabic language, and for you to be able to read other books, the tafsir, in the Arabic language as well. What is your thoughts?
I think it will be an excellent idea to do that, because the aim is to read Quran and understand.
Sister Najma Kanani, Sister Sadia, Sister Zakina.
I think it's very interesting, Mulana. Sounds very interesting.
So you need to give me some feedback on how I'm doing, because I am making this as my own style of approach of what I'm seeing, how different students are reacting. So this can be something which is different from what is being offered anywhere at the moment, because even in our religious houses itself, we don't teach the way I'm trying to teach students like yourselves. We don't teach the students like this. What we normally do, the way we study, is different. We actually go through A to B to C to D. We study one subject at a time. For example, we touch upon sarf, morphology, study all of that. We study then grammar. Then we study the analytical i'rab of the Quran. And when we do that, then we study. What I'm trying to do is trying to do a different approach together, is try to amalgamate everything together at the same time for yourselves, so that it's more understandable, something which you can relate to. Whereas students in the Hausa, they drop out. This normally what happens is that a lot of challenges for students is to do the verb conjugation. They find it challenging and drop out. I am trying to make it as easy as possible for yourselves so that you find it enjoyable.
So like you'll do qala, so all the ayahs of the Quran that has qala in it.
I will maybe if I do all of them, it may be too many. What I will do, I'll first will go through qala's past tense verb, present tense verb, and the imperative. And then, for example, oh, let me make it bigger. So over here now, it says, can everyone see it? وَمِنَ النَّاسِ.
Yes.
So it says on the screen, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ man or مَن يَقُولُ آمَنَّا بِاللَّهِ وَبِالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ وَمَا هُمْ بِمُؤْمِنِينَ. So what I will start with is wa, and min, as we know, means preposition, harf jar, min. Nasi is getting a kasra because of min, wa min nasi, and from the people. Man, who, yaqulu. So yaqulu is the past tense, present tense of qala yaqulu, and every verb requires a doer.
Sure.
So in yaqulu, the pronoun huwa is the doer of the verb of saying, and which is referring back to man, who is man yaqulu, who is saying amanna. So amanna is a past tense of verb of amana yu'minu. We believed. What do we believe in? Billahi, in Allah, wa, and bil yawmil akhiri, and the day of judgment. Wama hum bimu'minin, and they were not in the state of believers. And then وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ. وَإِذَا is when. Qila, now originally qila. Now I haven't done the does anyone know what does qila mean?
It was said. Passive.
No, not even that. Yeah, it's passive. Yeah, passive. So originally, can you see yaqulu having a, so can you see a present tense yaqulu, there's a waw there. Yaqulu.
Yeah.
Now, qila itself, originally, it was qawila. Let me just try to show something here for you. Just give me 1 second.
So what you're doing different from the other.
Just 1 second. Just give me 1 second. Let me just explain this so that you understand it completely how I'm going to do this. Give me 1 sec.
Walaikum salam.
So over here now, can everyone see this? Let me make it bigger.
No, Sheikh, we can't see.
We didn't get anything.
Can you see now?
No.
No, we're still on the same.
Right, okay. Now over here now, can you see this now?
Yes.
Now, as I have mentioned this before, but I'll remind this again. Every verb in the Arabic language has two forms for the past tense. One is ma'loom, the other is al-majhul. The ma'loom is that verb where the doer of the action is known. So for example, when we say in English language, Zaid wrote a letter. So we know that Zaid is the one. So we will say in Arabic, kataba Zaidun risala tan. Risala tan. So we have the verb, the doer, and the object, maf'ul. And sometimes in the English language and the Arabic language, we sometimes don't want to mention the doer. So when we don't want to mention the doer and make it passive, for example, a letter has been written, Zayd hasn't been mentioned. So that is called majhul. And all of the verbs in the Arabic language, which are 3-letter verbs, they all are formed on the pattern of fu'ila. The pattern is fu'ila. So fu'ila is the pattern on which all of the passive tense verbs are formed. Like we say for the ayah for Psalm, kutiba alaykumus sayamu. So kutiba. So it gives the meaning of be. It has been for past tense, been, and is being for present tense. So past tense is formed on the pattern of fu'ila. So the middle first letter or the 3-letter verb, well, the first letter gets a dhamma, the second letter gets a kasra, and the last letter gets a fatha. Fu'ila. That's for all of the 3-letter verbs. However, when we go to the weak letters, now I'm just going to sign into the actual group and I'm going to write in the chat box. Just give me 1 second. Now, when I'm just going to write the Arabic now. Now, the word qala, root word, as you can see, the root word is said qaf waw lam. So when we make this passive, it becomes qawila. I've just wrote it in the chat box, have a look. So qawila, it will mean it has been said, qawila. However, qawila for the Arabs was difficult to pronounce. So what they did, they made qawila. Can you see the waw in the middle, which had a kasra in the chat box? Can everyone see it? Or on the yes? In the chat box, in the Zoom chat.
Yeah.
Yes, we can see.
Yes, we can see
Now,
it.
it was qawila. Qawila for the Arabs was difficult. So what they did, they transferred the harakat from the waw, which had a kasra, to the qaf, and it became qawla. Again, qawla was difficult for them. They said that this is too difficult for us. Then from qawla, now it became qawla. That's the second step. Then from qawla, now whenever there is a kasra before a waw, what is the suitable harakat when there's a kasra before a waw? If it's a weak letter.
Becomes a ya.
Exactly. It becomes a ya, and it becomes qila. So qila is the past passive tense of qala, which qila adkhul al-jannah. It has been said. So qila, just remember qila, that's it. I won't for the technicalities how they came to qila itself, but qila is the past passive tense.
It's interesting to know where it came from, how this was formed.
No one, you haven't done that before yet.
No, never. That's what I was saying, that your method is very new, very unique.
Right. Yeah. So by this you won't forget, because what I want is to prepare yourselves so that at least each one of you, or each one of you, can at least teach 1 or 2 students, so that the numbers amongst our own community will increase who have the understanding of the Quran, so that at least it will have a domino effect. So that's the reason why I'm going through these efforts, teaching at a level that you will be able to teach other students. So وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ لَا تُفْسِدُوا. Now, when it has been said, lahum, as you know, la is for, hum is harfi, it's a pronoun for them. Now, la tufsidu. So, la tufsidu. Who is going to help me to understand this? What type of verb is this? Who's going to help me? Who wants to come forward? Sister Sadia, you was absent last week. Can I bring you forward?
Ji, Assalamu alaikum, Lama Sahab.
Alaikum salam. Now, Sister Sadia, now, tufsidu. Regardless of it not having a noon at the end, so the noon has been dropped at the end. La tufsidu is a present tense verb. Tufsidu,
Can you bring up this other screen, Sheikh?
which one?
This
It's
is,
not.
this is the conjugation of kataba, which I see.
Oh,
Yes,
sorry.
I can see as well the same.
Sorry. Apologies. I thought I was. Okay, here. وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ لَا تُفْسِدُوا. Can you see it now, Sister Sharabanu?
Yes, I can see.
Now,
Yes.
لَا تُفْسِدُوا. Now, I'm going to make you understand and try to use your knowledge you have already on this now. وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ لَا تُفْسِدُوا. So, la is coming. Ta is there. As you know, la tufsidu, there's a alif after the waw, there's an alif, and when there's an alif, you know that the noon has been dropped. Remember in the imperatives? Do you remember in the imperatives, when we did the imperatives for the plural?
Yes.
Masculine, we did idrib, idriba, idribu. Yes, the noon
Yes,
was dropped.
Mhm.
Now we'll understand from the dropping of the noon that this la must be some sort of la, as you know, means not. The here la is negation.
Mhm.
It means negation. Do not. So there's an imperative. You have a command, hit, and you also have do not hit. So when la comes by itself with the present tense, and the noon has been dropped in the dual or the plural, it comes as a negative command.
Fine. Mhm.
Is that clear? It comes as
Yeah.
a negative command. And now the question is, what type of verb is this? Of course, if I was I'm not teaching it the way I'm meant to be teaching, but because I'm giving you an example of what I'll do. Now, I will first of all tell you and make you understand tufsidu. Now, first of all, the ta has a dhamma, correct?
Yeah. Mhm.
Now, all of the three-letter verbs. Oh, let me just change the screen. Can you see the screen now?
No.
Can you
It's
see
still the
pattern?
same. Lots of tufsidu.
Okay, it hasn't changed. Okay, let me just change it again. Can you see it now? Yes.
Yes. Yep.
Now, on these 6 patterns, with these 6 patterns, you will see all of the present tense. The kataba, yaktubu. The ya is coming with a fatha.
Mhm.
Next one. Daraba, yadrib.
Yadribu. Yeah.
So all the 3-letter verbs, fataha, yaftahu, ya is coming with a fatha. The next one, alima ya'lamu, the present tense ya is coming with a fatha as well. So we will understand that this is not a 3-letter verb. It must be a different type of verb itself. Is that clear, Sister Sadi, so far?
Yes.
Now, what we will need to do then is go to this one here. Let me just get it onto the screen again. Over here, this is the reason why it's so important to memorize these formulas. Over here now, if you go to the present tense, Amar, we'll have, let me make it bigger for everyone. So over here, present tense, yufa'ilu, present tense, yufa'ilu. Here you have a shadda. Here after the fa, we had a hamz alif. Yuf'ilu. Can you see here, Sadia?
Yeah. Yuf'ilu.
So here, whenever the ya in the beginning of the present tense has a dhamma and the middle letter has a kasra, it is a 4-letter.
Verb. Yeah. Okay.
So the past tense should have a alif. So it's a 4-letter verb. Af'ala.
يفعل.
Amr is af'il. Same
Okay.
pattern. Akrama, yukrimu.
يكرم.
Now, I'm going to go to the ayah again, back. Now, la tufsidu. So what will be the past tense? Remove the ta.
Lost.
No, lost.
تفسد.
أفسد أنا أفسد
Fasada.
أفسد أفسد
Afsad. This is Madrakrani Afsanti. It's afsada.
أفسد.
So because the ta has a dhamma, and I said whenever you have a present tense verb, ta has a dhamma and the middle letter has a kasra, it's a sign that it is a 4-letter verb. And this, the past tense is afsada, present tense is yufsidu, and this is the second person, and
أمر.
this is tufsidu, tufsidani, tufsiduna.
Okay.
Noon has been dropped because this lam, which is coming in front of the present tense, is a negation. It's a negative command. You should not create mischief. Fil ardi, in the
Earth, on the earth.
qalu. So qalu is again one of the conjugation of qala, past tense. They said, innama, surely, innama, surely, nahnu.
We are
Muslim
Muslimun.
are revivers or rectifiers or good doers. Muslihuna, some people who make who revive or to reconcile things. Muslihuna.
Mhm.
This is how.
We seek
Sorry.
reform.
Yes, reform. Yeah.
Can I ask you one question?
Yes, 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 Nazma.
Is inna same as innama? Inna same as innama?
Thank you for asking that question. Thank you ever so much. Now, I was going to mention the difference between inna and innama in the next phase, but that's fine. You asked the question, and as we were passing, as the previous lesson we were doing about inna, I will answer it. Whenever, so inna, yes, it's the same as inna and its sisters. However, when inna and ma comes together, this ma, it restricts inna from doing any action. So inna ma, this ma prevents it doing any action in the whole sentence. It's called gafa. Gafa means prevent or stop. So like in ayat tathir, innama yuridullah. So innama, what it does, whatever is, it makes the ayah exclusive. That's what innama does. So it makes the ayah as if it's in a bracket between two brackets. So that is something unique about innama. It restricts the ayah. Whoever is included in the ayah is included, and whoever is not included will be exempted from the ayah. That's the reason why in ayat tathir, when you say innama yuridullah liyudhiba ankumur rijsa ahlul bayt, this ayah is only talking about the ahlul bayt, and the pronouns there. Let me go to the ayah, as this question normally pops up quite often, so I'll go to the Quran and because in that it's important that you understand that as well. I just want to explain it to you, as this is good that she's asked the question. I will explain it again, but at least you have some sort of you will know it. Actually, we covered this before. When I will repeat it again.
So is innama two stresses together?
Yeah, innama is together. Correct. It comes together, and it restricts the ayah from anyone else to be included in that ayah. It's as if it's an exception or an inclusion. So if you see over here in ayat tathir, where's it gone?
So it's like saying a double stress, like surely indeed. Is that what it means?
Just no, I just want to, let me just go to Ayat Tathir first, then I'll show you.
Okay.
So over here now, before Ayat Tathir, it talks about the wives of the prophets. وَذْكُرْنَا, so here, over here. وَقَرْنَا فِي بُيُوتِكُنَّ. So as you know, ka koma kum, ki koma kunna. So kunna, who is kunna referring to? And you stay fi buyutikunna in the surah ayat, so ayah 33 of Surah Ahzab. وَقَرْنَا فِي بُيُوتِكُنَّ. You stay in your houses. وَلَا تَبَرَّجْنَا تَبَرُّجَ الْجَاهِلِيَّةِ الْأُولَى. And do not decorate yourself, or do not do makeup of the makeup of Jahiliyyah, the Ula, the first Jahiliyyah. وَأَقِمْ الصَّلَاةَ. Establish prayer. So أَقِمْ الصَّلَاةَ وَآتِينَا الزَّكَاةَ وَأَطِعْنَا اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ. Then it stops. So وَقَرْنَا فِي بُيُوتِكُنَّ. All of these pronouns previously in the verse are referring to females. And then we have innama. So when innama comes, it restricts the ayah, that whoever is included in the ayah is exclusive, and whatever is previous, it is not applicable to the ayah. So it gives the meaning of only or surely.
Oh.
So here, innama yuridullahu liyudhiba ankum ar-rijsa ahl al-bayt, and you see the pronouns here. وَيُطَهِّرَكُمْ is not yutahhirakunna, is yutahhirakum. So kum are used when there's any masculine in a group, and then even though you have one lady, say that Fatima Zahra amongst the Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein, and Imam Ali and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that is applicable. The Arabs allow that. So that shows that this ayah is referring to a particular individuals itself, not to the wives of the Prophet. وَيُطَهِّرُكُمْ تَطْهِيرًا. And then it changes again. وَذْكُرْنَ مَا يُتْلَى. And then it talks to the wives of the Prophet again. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Or have I just completely lost
It
all the time?
restricts only the following ayah, and then afterwards, when the ayah ends, the restriction ends, and then it continues.
Exactly. That's what innama does. So it's normally inna does the action of inna Allah qadirun, change the ism, the mubtada to the ism of inna and the khabar of inna. But when innama comes, the ma prevents inna do any action, but it just acts as a clause to the whole sentence, that this is a restrictive ayah, a restricted sentence with a certain ruling or application about it.
Wow.
Mulana, can I ask you something? Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. I did understand what you are trying to tell me, sort of, but
Yep.
but you know the ayah which we are reading, وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ. Now the thing is, like we have got innama nahnu, yeah.
One
So
second.
that
Let me just go to the ayah onto the screen. 1 second. Correct?
so innama doesn't apply to the nahnu. That's why it's not muslihani. Yeah.
MashaAllah. Yes.
Yeah. It
Not-
comes to the
not-
whom. Yeah.
Absolutely right. So here,
I understood now.
Yeah.
Okay.
so normally what we should have had, we should have said, so here innama nahnu muslihuna. So muslihuna is remaining with a waw noon itself.
So it's applying into whom. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Right. So yeah, so this is how, of course, I will try to, first we'll explain yaqulu, explain qila, and then go through some ayat of the Quran, so that you understand how it is being used in the Quran. Right. Any questions now?
Yeah, I have one question, Sheikh.
Go on.
Whenever I've heard that when they're teaching Quranic ayahs with the translation, they say grammar is not that important while learning the translations. Is
Um,
that correct?
I disagree on that, to be honest with you. If you want some students to have a better understanding, knowing the grammatical positions, okay, the reason why I disagree, because if you know the grammatical position of the verse of the Quran, you will understand the miracle of the Quran in the Arabic language. Because the Quran is a miracle in its eloquency in the Arabic language. And if you say that you don't have to concentrate on the grammar of the Quran, you will not grasp the Quran being a miracle in the Arabic language. It's a miracle in its format as well. Like قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ مَلِكِ النَّاسِ إِلَهِ النَّاسِ. So the whole Surah Nas, it ends with the scene itself. Then Surah Falaq, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ مِنْ شَرِّ مَا خَلَقَ وَمِنْ شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ إِذَا وَقَبَ. So the Quran, the way it actually has its flows and the way the ayahs are constructed itself, it's a miracle. And even the ayah in regards in Surah Hud, where it talks about the description of Hazrat Nuh alayhi salam's ark. Again, those 3 or 4 verses of the Quran in Surah Hud, they are amazing. So the Quran, it's a miracle in its in its Arabic text format. So we need to understand, if you want to have a better or a deeper understanding of the Quran being a miracle, you need to know the grammatical perspective, and that's the reason why we have to study. Once you know the grammar, there's another level higher than the level, which is called Arabic rhetoric, which is called balaghat, which teaches you the eloquency of the Quran, how the Quran is so eloquent itself.
Okay.
So it's a commitment. Understand the Quran. It takes a part of your life.
Yes, definitely.
But there's, of course, there are ahadith from the Imams alayhimus salam which have mentioned that if you want to study in any university, the best university or the best place what you can study is the Quran itself. So the Quran is the best source of knowledge and spending your time to becoming close to the Quran. And the Quran, the more you become close to the Quran, the more attachment with the Quran you will have, and along with the Quran will act as a guide for you as well. So Quran has different levels of spiritual levels of connection to the Quran as well, because the Quran is a living miracle of Rasulullah, and it's a mu'jiza of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and it's a hadi itself, and it's even in regards to children, those who do not even understand the Quran, but reciting the Quran, it gives you spiritual benefits itself. Even, of course, understanding the Quran gives you more spiritual levels and understanding and knowledge as well. But reciting the Quran, it's nur. The Quran is nur. Seeing the nur gives you benefit itself as well. Yes, sister or brothers. Questions, please. This is just an introduction session. I do apologize that it took longer than expected to explain of how, inshallah, we'll go forward. Questions, Sister Zinat or anyone? Sister Najma?
No, I'm fine. Alhamdulillah. But it's very difficult.
I'll make it. Okay, grammar takes you into the
Yeah.
world. It's amazing to see how perfect Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, totally undisputed and modeling. That's correct.
So is Kila same as Kala?
No, Qila is
Meaning of it.
passive tense. Past, passive tense. It has been said.
Majhul, yeah?
Majhul, correct.
Okay, okay.
Whenever it comes to the Quran, Qila or Qila, Qilat hasn't really come often. It's only Qila, and that is the most often verb in the Quran, Qila.
Okay.
Right. I know it's approaching Salah time in London. So questions. Ask questions, please. Anyone have any questions? Sister Zabunisa?
So Tuesdays we are going to do Medina Arabic, and Wednesdays the Quranic Arabic.
The Quranic, yes, I'll send you the handouts. I've sent the PDF already on this as well, and I'll send you the other part of Surah Baqarah. And when I'll do the Surah Baqarah, I will where is Surah Baqarah? Give me 1 second, sister. I'll first of all talk about the Shan and Nuzul of the ayahs, and then where's it gone?
So our class will be twice a week.
I would like to do twice a week if you're able to cope. If it's too much, then we could do it every fortnight. So Alif Lam ذلك الكتاب الذين يؤمنون بالغيب ويقيمون الصلاة ومما رزقناهم ينفقون. Now, يؤمنون. I mentioned something to yourself previously that like لا تفسدوا. So يؤمنون is following the same formula now. What was that formula which I was talking about in لا تفسدوا?
Fu'ila.
It's
No.
the four letter.
Afsa.
Yes,
Afsa.
exactly. It's a 4-letter verb. So this is the past tense of yu'minuna, as the ya has a dhamma and the middle letter mim has a kasra. It's amana. The past tense amana yu'minu. Amana yu'minu. I'm just giving a quick little summary. And then in yuqimuna, can you see the ya coming with a dhamma? Middle letter with a kasra. What will be the past tense? What will be the past tense? Sister Najma, say that again, please. Yes, Sister Zahra, you're right. Akama. Alif, qaf, alif, mim. Aqama, yuqimu, which means to establish. Aqama, yuqimu. The iqamat is the and then yunfiquna. Can you see the ya with the dhamma? The fa.
We can't see the screen, Sheikh.
Sorry. Apologies. That I thought it was. So let's go again. Yu'minun.
Can't see the screen.
Can you see the screen now, doctor? Yu'minuna. It's amana. Alif with the mud on top. Amana yu'minu. And I'll write this down in the group so that everyone has it. Just give me 1 second. At least you're able to, because by knowing this, it just gives you a better understanding of the, whenever amana comes, you will know that this is the past tense verb. Amana and yu'minu. Amana, yu'minu, that's one of them, and the other one is aqama. Sister Zahra, can you do past tense of amana, please?
Okay. Amana, amana, amanu, amanat, amanata, amanna.
Amanna, yeah, amanna, because there's 2 noons. Amanna, then it becomes amanta.
Amanta, amantuma, amantum, amantuma, amantunna. Is that right?
What?
Amanu, amanna.
Amanta, amantuma, amantum, amanti, amantuma, amantunna.
Amantunna, amanu, amanna.
No, amantu and amanna.
Amantu, amanna.
Okay. Can I request Sister Sadiqa Asaria, as you were the first student join the class, can you do for me, Sister Sadiqa? Are you there? Alaikum assalam. So the past tense, the present tense will be yu'minu. Yu'minu. Amana, yu'minu.
You want me to do the present tense?
Yes, please. I'll help you as well.
Okay. Yu'minu,
Minani.
yu'minani, yu'minuna.
Ahsanti.
Um,
Hiya.
yu'min,
Hiya.
tu'min, tu'minani.
Excellent. Hunna yu'minna. Hunna yu'minna. Then
Sorry, what was it?
yu'minna. So it's you, ya, waw, mim, noon, and noon. Yu'minna.
Yu'minna.
Then
Yu'minu, yu'minu.
tu'minu. Anta tu'minu.
Oh yeah, tu'minu, tu'minani,
Tu'minuna.
minuna.
Tu'mina.
Minina,
Correct. Tu'minani.
tu'minani,
Tu'minna. U'minu.
ukminu, no.
Nu'minu. Ahsanti. Ahsanti. Jazakallah. Thank you. Next person I will ask, Sister Sabira Kanji. And then Sister Sakina after that. Sister Sabira Kanji. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Sabira. Now, if you look in the group, in the Zoom chat box, I have the verb akama. Alif, qaf, alif, mim. That's the past tense. Aqama is a 4-letter verb, which means he initiated or he established something. Aqama. Let's go. Bismillah. I'll help you as well. Aqama.
So this is in the past tense, akama.
Yes.
Okay. Akama, akama, akamu,
Excellent.
akamat, akamata, akamat, akamanna.
Just 1 second here. Now, let me just show you now what happens here. Write this ruling down. So what happens? Aka. Let me explain what's happened here. I'm going to write this in the chat box, and you'll remember this the rest of your lives. So that this formula I taught the other group last week, and I haven't done it with yourselves. So let me show you in the group. And look at the group in the Zoom. Can you see what I've done? Can everyone look in the Zoom chat box? I have wrote akam. There, can you see there's after the qaf, you have the alif, which is silent, and as you know, that the 6th form of the verb, 1 letter before the noon is always with a sukoon. Can you see there's 2 sukoons together now? The alif has a sukoon and the mim has a sukoon as well.
Yes.
Yes.
Now what? So remember this ruling. Whenever in a in the past tense, whenever in the past tense, the middle letter of a verb has any of the weak letters, they will be dropped. They will be dropped when 2 silent letters come together. 2 silent letters come together, and the first one being the weak letter. So can you see it in this one here? Alif, qaf, alif, mim. The alif here, it's silent, it's got a sukoon. The mim's got a sukoon. The alif is dropped. So whenever there are 2 silent letters together, and one of them is a weak letter, the middle letter is the weak letter, it is dropped, and it becomes, sister, what will it become? Akamna.
Okay, akamna.
Like you say, akam in ziyarat waritha. Qad akamta salat wa atayta zakat.
Akamna. Okay. So it's hunna akamna.
Yes, I've just wrote it in the group so that you know that hunna akamna. So alif is dropped, and
Sorry,
the
Sheikh, any of the weak letters, they will be dropped when?
when 2 silent, when one of them, so when two sukoons are together. When two sukoons are together, and the first sukoon is a weak letter.
Okay.
So here in akamna, the alif and the meme, two sukoon letters, the alif is dropped and it becomes akamna. And then in Zarat al-Waritha, kad akam, the anta akamta. Anta akamta in Zarat al-Waritha, kad akamta salat. Is that clear? Remind you? Continue now, please. Akamta.
So hunna akamna, then it's anta akamta, antuma akamtuma, antum akamtum,
Excellent.
akamti, antuma akamtuma, antunna akamtunna, ana akamtu.
Correct.
Nahnu nakamna.
Nahnu akamna.
Oh, akamna, sorry.
Akamna. MashaAllah. Thank you ever so much for that. How do you find that? Not too difficult?
Well, if the formula is in front of you and you're looking at, various sheets, you can do it. But as I say, in the middle of the street, I won't be able to do it.
No, of course. I'll give you more practice. I'm just giving you just a flow of, inshallah, how I will support yourselves to go through this and, inshallah, make it much more enjoyable for yourselves, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Thank you.
Sheikh, I have one suggestion. You're giving it all on the chats, but once we finish the class, it disappears. Then you can't review it.
I will send this again. What I've done today in
That's
class.
what happens when you're giving on the chats. You cannot trace it.
I will send whatever I'm doing today. I will give this as a PDF in the next hour or so to yourselves.
Okay. Because that's frustrating that you write so much chats and it's all gone.
No, I'll send everything what I've sent today.
I've taken a picture of it. I'll put it on WhatsApp.
I will send that. No, thank you for the sisters. Sadiqa, I will send the actual past tense and present tense so that this is this lesson is actually preserved. I'll do that. Thank you for that point which you have made, Sister Alpama. Right, Sister Sakina, can I request the last one and then I'll end the class on this. Sister Sakina,
yeah, I'm here.
I want you to akama yuqimu, the present tense. وَيُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ وَيُؤْتُونَ الزَّكَاةَ. This one here. وَيُقِيمُونَ. So yuqimu will be the present tense.
Okay. Yuqimu, yuqimani, yuqimuna, tuqimu, tuqimani, yuqimna.
Ahsanti, yuqimna.
Tuqimu, tuqimani, tuqimuna.
Excellent.
Tuqimina.
Excellent.
Tuqimani. Yuqimna.
Tuqimna. It's hunna.
Tuqimna.
Tuqimna, antunna. Uqimu.
Uqimu, nuqimu.
Uqimu, nuqimu. Is that okay with you now?
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Now, any questions, suggestions from yourselves now?
Don't put it
No.
like that. That's my only thing, because I really miss that. Once it's gone, it's gone. Because I can't.
I'll do that. I'll send that across because what I'm doing is a introductory of what we're going to do, and I'll send this as a handout so that you can make yourself familiarize yourself of how the layout will be in 2 weeks' time, inshallah. Okay. Right. Any other questions from anyone?
And the recording of this session today.
Yes, I will do that.
Thank you.
Just one last question, Sheikh.
Yes.
I joined slightly late, so I missed the beginning.
Yep.
Are we doing this on a different day, and are we continuing with Medina Arabic on a different day?
That's right. So what I'm planning to do is that I want to give you a further little boost for yourselves, and give you more enthusiasm and give you that extra make your spirits high. So what we're doing, I was suggesting I can offer Wednesday 6 p.m. Tuesday we'll have our normal class, evening the late class and the 6 o'clock class. On Wednesday 6 p.m. we'll start going through. So there's a handout which I showed is in the group, that I will go through the often repeated or frequently come verbs in the Quran. We'll do 5 of them, practice them, give you the past, present and future tense, so that your Quran reading will improve, because you will be able to conjugate the verb in the past, present and different formats. That will become more familiar for you. We'll try to translate some of those verses where this verb has been used. That will be half an hour, and the other half we will go for Surah Baqarah from the beginning.
Okay. So is this going to help our Medina Arabic book, or vice versa?
It will. What Medina Arabic book is going to help you to understand the Quran, and practicing what I'm doing now, it will also help you in Medina, because when we do lesson book 5 and 6, the different verses of the Quran will be coming in the Medina Arabic book as well.
Yeah, it's just that I feel kind of overwhelmed, because this lesson is slightly tougher, and I'm finding it harder.
I'll make this easier, and I'll make this lesson easy because this was a slight introduction, and I haven't went through the steps of how I'll deliver the lesson. It's just a slight introduction of how it will be. It will be because you came slightly late. There was an introduction of the breakdown of the verses.
Right.
And how it will be structured itself. Is trying to make it as easy as possible, and the transition to make it as smooth as possible. All students, when there's a transition of years, there's a slight little change, but I'll make that change as easy as possible for yourself, inshallah.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Any other questions from anyone?
Sheikh, this is Kulsum.
Yes, this is Kulsum.
This is not my normal session. I try to attend whenever.
Yeah.
I really do like the fact that you are introducing these verbs, because these are the ones that we do run across a lot, and sometimes the meaning is lost. So if we repeat those and understand those, and then understand the conjugations, inshallah, it will make it at least easier, not fully to understand, but start the beginnings of any of the Quran.
So you could see the yesterday's evening session and today's session, how I elaborated of what I'm going to deliver. You remember last night and today, so you probably have a broader or a better understanding of how that is going to be delivered, these sessions.
Yes, I did enter again a little bit later, but I was able to kind of pick up. So alhamdulillah, I think that this is great.
From me as well, that conjugation is really important, and this is a great job that we are doing here. Especially La Tufsidu, I couldn't understand very much what is happening, but Jumuna and the next one was the minute explained so well that now I got it, how the La Tufsidu was formed there.
Okay, yeah, I'll make it, because what needs to be, sometimes you know the formulas, but there's also some tricks as well, which you learn during the course of your experience, that these are some tips which you know, or not tips, tips will make you further enhance your studies and understanding of the Quran, inshallah.
Completely agree.
Okay, that's fine. So I'll not take any more of your time, so inshallah, and we'll meet up next week, same time, inshallah. Thank you for your patience today.
Tomorrow?
Not tomorrow, no, Doctor, not next week, the following week, inshallah. We'll start in 2 weeks' time, inshallah.
All right, thank you, Asad.
Next week, we'll continue Medina Arabic as our revision sessions, as usual, and then work our way through, inshallah. Okay, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farajan. Jazakallah.